Okay, guys, so I'm here at Jones Trolling Motor with Taylor, and by the way, so if you haven't figured this out yet, or if you haven't seen some of my older videos, I've added a Garmin LiveScope to my boat. We're doing it today down here. We're filming the install right now. But we got to talking about one of the things. So I got on the Tackle Warehouse website, and I'm like, which one do I want? Oh my gosh, there's 100 different units.
Yes.
Now, I knew being an old guy, I wanted a 12, right? But I didn't understand the difference in the units, and you've called them families. So talk a little bit about the difference in the units and the families.
So what we've got here, this is their 3 top-of-the-line 12s. So the 2 different families, you have the EchoMap family, which is what this 12 here falls into. The EchoMap is their slightly more affordable, but it's also their newest family. The original EchoMaps were around for a long time, but this is their new Ultra family. They come in a 10 and a 12 inch. This is the 12. The difference being is if you're going to go with the EchoMap family, the EchoMaps will only share waypoints and screen communications between other EchoMaps. So if you buy this EchoMap 122 to mount on the front of your boat to run LiveScope on, you're going to want to go with another EchoMap 12 or an EchoMap 10 or 9 in the back to communicate waypoints, you know, routes and trails, anything like that. So then your more premium family is the GPSMAP family, and this is the 2 top dogs as far as touchscreens. You have the 1222 XSV Touch Plus, and then you have the 8412 XSV. And this would be the equivalent of a Ferrari, and this being a Corvette. There's nothing wrong with the Corvette. The Corvette's awesome, but to get the best of the best, this is your guy right here. So just on this 12, you're looking at a 1920 by 1080 pixel. It's the most clearest, fastest processor they've got. I mean, when we're talking about LiveScope, we're talking about counting fins on fish. It's a buttonless screen. It's all glass all the way out to the edges. Your power button is just a photo eye that you hold your finger over to get it to turn on. Your SD card slot is back here in the back. And as you can tell by how many ports it has, it will do almost anything under the sun. I have actually done an install on a boat where a gentleman hooked up an Apple TV receiver to this to watch college football on the weekends. And in this 8400 series, which being the top dog, they come in a 10, a 12, a 16, a 24. You know, the sky's the limit on the 84 series.
And was that unit developed for saltwater?
Originally, their GPSMAP family units were a saltwater unit that they adapted over to freshwater.
Okay. And
so probably the most popular unit that we sell is the GPSMAP 1222 XSV Plus. It was a new one this year. They had an original XSV Touch, and this is the Plus model. Just a couple of what's the word? Accessibility features. Okay. You know, just some different overlays, some stuff like that. Very crisp, very clean. It's a 1280 by 800 pixel. GPS is built into all of these different units.
So by the way, the 2 units on our left, same pixel count on a 12 inch?
Same pixel count on both of them. The difference being, as far as screen clarity, is going to be your processor speeds. And I can't quote you off the top of my head what the processor speeds are, but this one is a little bit slower than this one is. So just if you put these 2 units side by side running the LiveScope, you're going to see a slight clarity difference, but mostly a crispness difference. This one might have a little bit of a lag time to it. Even when you're changing from screen to screen, it's not that it's hung up or it's slow, it's just how fast that response is because of the processor differences. Now, this unit will run their UHD transducers. That's what they come from the factory with if you order them with transducer. That is comparable to Hunnenberg's Mega Imaging. It is a 1120 kilohertz on the top end, and it will default down to a 455 or an 800 traditional sonar frequency. Whereas the 1222 does not support the UHD transducer. It only does the standard 455 and 800 kilohertz. But one thing about mega frequencies and UHD frequencies, they top out at around 25 to 30 foot of water. Anything out, and I would just even venture to say 20. So I fish a lot at Rayburn, Lake Fork, places like that where during the summer we're fishing 25 plus foot of water. I believe, and other people have backed me up on this, even some engineers, it's better to run the 455 frequencies over that mega frequency. Now mega is awesome, and so is the UHD in shallow, under 20 foot of water situations. But I can get just as good of a picture out of a 455 kilohertz transducer with this unit as I can with the mega or the UHD on this unit, just because of how crisp and fast this unit is. Now, when you step up to the 84 series, it does support the UHD also, so you'd have the option to run whichever one you wanted to do. And the same being with that one. So,
all right, so here's the question. What do you have on your boat?
Right now, I'm running the Echoes, the Ultras, because that was a new altogether graph for this season. And if you look on pro boats right now, various ones, that's the majority of them are running this unit right here because it has been a very feature-packed, budget-friendly unit. And by budget-friendly, some competitors 12s are, up around the $3,000 mark. You're looking at this one with transducer around the $2,600 mark, whereas this one with a transducer, you're getting back up there around that $3,000 mark. And then when you step up to the 8400 series, you venture up into the $4,000 range. But the clarity difference is warranted. You can definitely see it. You're definitely getting what you're paying for.
So I get a question quite a bit about if you were going to go, so in this case, if you were going to go upscale, would you rather have a 12-inch EchoMap or a 10-inch GPSMAP?
What I always recommend, bigger screen is better.
Bigger's better.
So if
you got a fixed budget,
if you're on a
biggest
fixed
screen you
budget,
can get.
if say, your two options were to buy two 10-inch models of this graph or two 12 inches of this model, I do the 12 all day long because the bigger the screen, the more, separation you get, the easier it is to pick out fish and brush piles, see your bait on LiveScope, all those different kinds of things.
If you're not running LiveScope, which I don't know why you wouldn't do that, is there a difference? In other words, I mean, is most of the difference in the LiveScope because of the processing speed?
So with LiveScope, the black box that comes with the GLS-10 LiveScope system does the processing for the graph as far as the LiveScope goes. From there, it's just how fast this processor can relay that information to the screen. So when it comes down to if you were not doing LiveScope and you were just wanting to get a 12-inch unit for the back of your boat, I would step more toward the 1222 Touch because navigating through screens and some of the more advanced features are just a little bit crisper. That's where you're getting your price difference here to here is when you move through the screens on this one, it's seamless. It's if you're running a triple combo with a top half side scan, then having down scan and mapping, you can just quick touch a button in each corner of that split combo and go to full screen and never have to swap screens. Now, on this Ultra, you have quick preset buttons, but you don't have the ability to go in here and touch each one of them and blow them up the same way.
Is that a touch screen at all?
Yes, this is all three of these are touchscreen models.
Okay. And do they make a non-touch screen now?
So for the EchoMaps, they're all touches. On the GPSMAPs, as far as what they call a 12x2 series and a 10x2 series, there are non-touch options. But then when you get up into like the 84s, then it's obviously all touchscreen. But in the GPSMAP 1222 models, 1022 models, there are non-touches.
Talk about the difference in the transducers. You touched on it, but give me a dive on those.
So One big key as far as doing setups that we do, if we're doing a side scan, down scan setup on the back. So for side scan, down scan, and 2D on the back of the boat, what I prefer to run, whether you're running this unit right here, all the way up to the 8400 series, what we like to do, unless you are predominantly fishing under 20 foot of water, you know, shallow lakes. On shallow lakes, we'll run a GT34 transducer by Garmin, which is a ultra high definition 1120 kilohertz transducer that does side scan and down scan. That particular transducer will work with this unit and this unit. The by far most popular setup we do, it's best to do if you can. Now, if you're in an aluminum setup, obviously you can't do the in-hole shoot-through transducers.
Wait, you can't put an in-hole shoot-through in an aluminum hull?
No.
I didn't know that.
No, it will not read through it.
Okay.
So the best way to do it, and it's a hard concept to explain, but if you put a 3-in-1 transducer on the back of the boat, your amount of crystals that you're cramming into that transducer is less clear than if you do a down scan and side scan transducer split to that 2D puck in the hull. So the difference, it's very drastic. Now the price is the exact same whether you did a split setup or a 3-in-1 setup. But what I recommend doing is a GT30 Garmin transducers, 455 and 800 kilohertz side scan and down scan, with a GT8 in-hull transducer, which is their traditional chirp sonar. Awesome chirp. You can see fish, structure, the whole 9 yards with it on a shoot-through option, epoxied into the bottom of a boat. That's what I would recommend, whether you bought this graph, any of them. That's by far the way to go.
So again, I'm coming from a hummingbird background. So with my units, you have to elect whether you want a HD, a old 2D, HD, or side scan. Same way here with the transducers? Okay. So when you quoted prices earlier, were you talking with side scan transducers?
So these graphs here, when you order them from us, you're looking at either no transducer or with a side scan, down scan 2D setup. Now, like I said, if you were in an aluminum setup and you wanted to do a 3-in-1 side scan, down scan, and 2D, it's the same price as doing the GT8 and GT30 split combo. So
what is a GT30 and GT8 split combo?
So the GT30 handles the side scan and down scan, and the GT8 handles the 2D.
I got
and
you.
they come up to your console on a Y cable and then connect to the graph.
Okay.
So this unit here, without transducer, $2,300. With transducer, $2,600.
Whether it's one or two transducers?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
Either
gotcha.
way, they're the exact same price.
Okay.
So this setup here, with without transducers, you're looking at 27, and then with, you're looking at $3,000. And then here, they all come without transducer because of setting up what you need for your boat. They don't do a package like where Humminbird or Lowrance might do a 3-in-1 transducer or a mega side scan transducer. They sell these without transducer. That way you can pick whichever one you need for your setup.
Or if you're running multiple units,
Yes.
you can work off. So
Exactly.
I'm assuming you can run multiple units off one
Yes.
transducer.
So Garmin's network system is really great. Some other competitors, you have to have Ethernet and you have to have NEMA to communicate all your different waypoints, your different screens. Garmin, via their marine network cables, other than a numerical data source such as a heading sensor or a engine data hookup, there's no need for NEMA unless you're doing those kind of things. So if you just strictly want to run the built-in GPS in these units and communicate waypoints, share screens, because you can share LiveScope. If you have two of these units, one on the front, one on the back, you can share your LiveScope from the front of the boat to the back of the boat. So that your co-angler can see what you're doing if you wanted to, or if you're fishing with your family, they can all see what's going on.
Look, honey, here's how I'm catching them, that you're
That's
not
right.
catching them back there?
That's right.
That's going to go over great.
So via their marine network cables, a 20-footer being, I believe, $50, you can hook that one cable from this graph to another EchoMap graph, full compatibility, share all your side scans, your down scans, 2D, LiveScope, waypoints, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, so I guess most guys are going to figure out kind of what I figured out, right? I can buy this online and try to find somebody to put it together and figure out what the heck's going on. But you guys truly build the system.
Yes, sir.
And do the install. And that way, if I got a problem, I hate to say it this way, but one throat to choke, right? I can call and go, hey man, something's not working.
That's correct. So we here at Jones Trolling Motor, we are certified Garmin installers. You get a 2-year warranty on your units straight from Garmin, but that only covers the actual parts. As far as covering your labor, if we do the install, you get that extra full year of labor warranty as well. And so what we do, you can call us up or shoot us an email. We do system building for your needs, you know, whether you're needing 2 graphs and a LiveScope, 4 graphs and a LiveScope, you know, whatever you're needing. We system build off of that. We get you what you need. You know, we don't want to tell you, you know, hey, you need 4 transducers when you only need 2, you know, all that sort of thing. We draw them all up. We know how to hook them up. That's what we do here. That way we don't, you know, get you on something, because that's, in the end, shops like us, that's what we're here for, is to be that one stop, hook them up, set them up, get them to where you can use them. So you can call us up. Phone number is 870-773-3474, or you can email us at jonestrollermotor@cable1.net and spell out the 1 in Cable 1.